Hello and welcome to Grounded, Renovation's weekly series where we explore the Bible together. I'm Steve, and today we'll be wrapping up our journey through the book of 2 Timothy. In many of Paul's letters, he ends with a greeting or a thank you to some of his friends in ministry that lived in the area where the letter was going. 2 Timothy is no exception, but there are two other categories of people that Paul addressed too. So let's start with the ones that Paul thanked. In this section, Paul talked about Luke, Tychicus, Priscilla, Aquila, and a few others who helped him bring the message of Jesus to the world. This is a good reminder that we all need friends around us who work together with us to spread the good news of Jesus and to make his kingdom come alive in this world. I hope you have some good people around you just like Paul did. People who build you up, encourage you, challenge you, and work alongside of you. Don't take these people for granted. Take some time this week to let them know how much you appreciate them. The next category of people that Paul talks about are those who caused him harm. Now, this is a sad reality. Not everyone around you will support your faith. Some will actively oppose it. For Paul, this included people like Alexander the metalworker, who might have been one of the people in Acts 19 who caused a riot in the city of Ephesus when Paul tried to spread the gospel there. Another person who opposed Paul was Demas, who we're told abandoned Paul because of his love for the world. This story is especially sad because Demas used to be one of Paul's friends and co-workers. Paul had actually thanked him in a couple other previous letters. But somewhere along the lines, Demas chose following the world over following Jesus. And in the process, he caused difficulty for Paul's ministry. Unfortunately, sometimes we get hurt by people who were once friends. But notice that Paul didn't get bitter or seek revenge. Instead, he kept his distance, and then he trusted God to handle the problem. Finally, Paul talks about people who had harmed him, but their relationship was restored. In verse 11, Paul mentioned Mark. Now, Mark was one of Paul's original missionary companions, who later abandoned him in Acts chapter 13, just like Demas did. But years later, something changed. Paul and Mark reconciled, and Paul asked Timothy to bring Mark to him so that they could do ministry together again. Now, this should give us hope for those friendships that maybe have fallen apart. Maybe you have a friendship with another Christian that isn't what it used to be. Maybe you were even harmed by someone in the church and you had to separate from that person. Sometimes those relationships are never the same again. But by the power of Jesus, just like Paul and Mark, those relationships can be restored and you can work together again. So don't lose hope, even if for now you have to love from a distance. So this wraps up our discussion on 2 Timothy. What have you learned as you've journeyed through this book with us? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned for our next Grounded series.